Hey everybody, it is Maureen and Rob, aka the Stromads, your tequila tasting nomads. And today we thought we would switch it up a little bit. We are not sipping tequila, but we do want to talk to you about some RV myths out there. We want to bust them apart for you.
You know, in the RV industry right now, or the way we see it, there's a lot of fear being projected out there. Everybody is angry. They're upset. They're upset at Walmart. They're upset at Cabela's. They're upset at the RV industry. They're upset at campgrounds. They're upset at the state parks. They're upset at everybody. There's no camping spots. There's nothing going right in the RV industry. There's too many RVs being built.
Too many people traveling.
Yeah, and it's just a bunch of junk, and that's what we want to talk to you about today.
So let's jump right into it with our myth number one. Is this true or false, Rob? You cannot stay in Walmart's, Cabela's, Cracker Barrels, or any of those once hospitable stores parking lots overnight.
This is false. Now, let's clarify that. It's not false in every occasion, because there are some Walmarts, Cabela's, Cracker Barrels, Home Depots, rest stops, and things that you can't stay in overnight.
Right.
But there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them that you can. How do you know?
How do you know? Do you just go on Facebook and ask that random question? No, you pick up the phone and you call them and you ask them, hey, do you allow overnight RV parking in your lot? Every time that we have called, the person that answers the phone knows the answer right away. It's either yes or no, and they will normally tell you where to park your RV. This does not mean you get to stay for a week out there. Doesn't mean you can set up your grill and your lawn chairs and all of that. You pull in, you sleep, go in and shop if you have to, and then roll out in the morning. It is convenient. It's awful nice of them to allow parking in their lots. It's not always up to the Walmart store. A lot of people are really ticked off with Walmart. Not always Walmart. A lot of times it is the county, the city, the jurisdiction. Here's a couple hints, right? You got a couple hints for them?
Well, what you want to do, first thing, you can go out on some of the sites out there. A lot of times we start with RV Parky. It comes up fast. It's got information, and it'll have a little moon if you can overnight there or not. But don't rely on it. Don't be going in and telling the person, well, RV Parky said that I could park here. Right. No, call them.
Call.
This
they
is
give you
just
the phone number.
Yeah, it's a way to do your research. So check out RV Parky. You can check out Campendium, iRoam, iOverlander. We'll put some of those in the comments or give you a download for it.
Yeah, the other thing is when you get closer to really touristy areas, any of your beaches, Florida, like the whole state of Florida, it's not just Walmart that doesn't let you sleep overnight. It's the whole state just about. You can't even sleep in the rest stops. Maybe for a couple hours, pull in, but do your research before you get on your road. Get some idea of what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't be out there in the middle of the night deciding that I'm going to just pull in here, because
No.
Guess what? Sometimes you're going to be rudely awakened. And how do we know
rightfully
that?
so, yeah.
How do we know that?
Because
Because if you get close to Denver,
Oh,
forget
yeah.
about it. And so we ended up going over the Rocky Mountains at 10 o'clock at night in the rain, because there was no parking, because we had not done enough research
Right.
to know that.
Right.
So there you
St.
have
Louis. St. Louis is another area. You're going to have to find an alternative if you're coming through the St. Louis area.
it. So let's talk about something else just real quick while we're on that. Is it safe? You know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, you know, Walmart, they've got all these people around there and all these things. Well, yeah, there's some sketchy spots.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
and if you feel like it's too sketchy, then it's
Don't
okay.
stay there.
Go on down the road and find something else. But you know, we found that for the most part, it's pretty safe. It's pretty comfortable. They've got cameras. You know, we try to park in a relatively lit area. If there's other RVers there, you know, and if there's something that doesn't look right, don't be afraid to again move on, move around the other side of the parking lot
Right.
if it's available. You've got to be flexible and adjust.
And don't go shopping at midnight in the store. I mean, right now, most of their stores are still closing early, but some of them were 24 hours. If you're uncomfortable, don't walk in. You don't have to walk into the store to announce your presence. You've already called, you've cleared it by telephone. You know, ladies, especially, you know, don't go rolling across the parking lot in the middle of the night. That is what puts you in danger, not necessarily pulling in your RV. So myth number 2, there is no boondocking anywhere. Every boondocking space is taken up. Every area out in the beautiful nature and in the woods is taken up by other RVers, which means there are spaces out there. And there's just nowhere to go. There's just too many RVers, no place to boondock anymore.
Well, let's talk about that. What is boondocking?
Right.
Well, boondocking is when you find a spot that doesn't have full hookups. There's no electric, there's no water, there's no sewer. You just pull in and you're there and you're camping. So you're boondocking.
Can you
So-
boondock anywhere?
No, you can't boondock anywhere. There are one of the cool things about being here in the United States is we've got this Bureau of Land Management, we've got the Corps of Engineers, we've got all this property that is owned by us and the U.S. government, and a lot of that we're allowed to stay on for free. And you can find some just incredible spots, and of course that's what everybody's bitching about is those spots aren't available. Somebody's already in them, or they've messed it up, or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's research. Go on iOverlander, iRoam, Campendium, and check out these spots. And then you can go to Google Earth and dial in on those things, see if it's big enough or there's enough clearance. A lot of times trees are there, ruts, things like that you just want to check and figure out, you know, can I get in there? We've got a big rig and we don't have a whole lot of clearance, so it's something that we need to be really mindful of. Some of these guys are out here have huge clearance, and I mean they can, you know, they end up in some amazing spots, just mountain vistas and views over lakes and stuff. We'll take advantage of that, but again, do your research. But there's pretty much plenty out here as far as the West and the Midwest is concerned.
Right.
Now, you will find boondocking in the East. If you're going to boondock in Key West, I don't think so.
Good luck. And if you do find that spot, let everybody, or don't let anybody know about
Yeah, but just send us a
You can send us,
DM.
You guys that are van life, though, I'm super jealous of you guys because you can go just about anywhere. And I don't know the van life is for us this time around, but I would be willing to give it a try.
Hey,
in
you never
some other
know.
areas.
You never know. Again, you got to be flexible. And if you want to see some of those spots that you can't get into a big rig, we know there's a little bit of a trend going on right now that a lot of people with big rigs are now doing van life as well, or converting so that they can get into some spots that they weren't able to get in. So that's another part for another series and stuff, but what's your why? And you got to know, what kind of camping do you want to do? If you want to boondock, we're here to tell you, you can boondock. You just, again, have to do a little bit of research, and that research isn't Facebook. Can you tell me where I can boondock? Can I boondock?
Yeah, can I boondock? We'll get to this one next. So, myth number 3
Here we go.
is there are no camping spots anywhere, regular camping spots. I'm talking KOA campgrounds, private campgrounds, state parks, national parks. There are no camping spots available. Everything is booked up, and if you want to go somewhere, you've got to book 3 years in advance. So let's talk about this one.
Well, if that was the case, we wouldn't be RVers, because anybody that knows me, and if you don't, I'll tell you, I don't plan anything ahead or very far ahead. It just doesn't happen. Part of it, I like to blame that on our schedule, our lifestyle, but really,
We don't have a schedule anymore.
I'm just a procrastinator. So it just doesn't happen. And just this year, for example, now for the last 2 years, they've built more RVs. In the last 2 years, the industry is just overtaken all these new RVers and stuff. The campgrounds are all filled up. Well, guess what? We were out over the holidays back in the summer, July 4th. We were in the Big Six national parks. We are
The Mighty Five.
the Mighty Five, the Big Six. Okay. Well, all right.
But we did get 6 in because we went to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
too.
that was a bonus. See,
That was. We
know.
had a bonus.
Yeah,
That was
and
a bonus.
this right now, while we're shooting this is Thanksgiving weekend, and we had no reservation. Where are
Right.
we going to stay? What are we going to do? Oh my God, we're going to have to boondock somewhere that you're not able to boondock, and have a turkey, on a spit roast or something like that. Well, no. The key is, again, you got to do some research, you got to do some legwork, and you got to make some phone calls, and it may be more than one. And you've got to quit listening to Facebook people that say you've got to book everything 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in advance. Yes, there are places that do book up. Let's go back to the Keys. The Keys, tough to get in there.
Well, Key West is super difficult to get in there. But the thing is, you have to decide, do you really want to go to Key West, or do you want to go to maybe one of the upper Keys, which are beautiful, and you're right on the water? It is not Key West. Key West has its place and its time, and everybody should go there. It's fun, but...
Well, the other part of that is being flexible.
Be
Be
flexible.
flexible. Try to build some time in, some space in, so that you can only go these 5 days. And if these 5 days aren't, whatever, if those 5 days happen to be a holiday, yeah, you probably are going to have to
Right.
really, really plan that in advance. But the other thing is, are you willing to move spots? So, are you willing to stay 2 days in this spot and then hopscotch across the campground to another spot?
We do.
Yeah. Is it a pain? I don't know. It depends on how hard it is to pack your rig up. And again, that's part of what we considered when we bought our rig. We can button up here in about 15, 20 minutes and just jump from site to site if we have to. We're, again, flexible with that. And we're flexible with, if the Keys aren't available, go around to St. Joe's or wherever.
Right.
We try to be flexible in not getting our sights set. This is the only way that it will work.
Right.
This is the only experience that we can have. And there are some one-time experiences,
Right.
but even again, with the national parks, what do we have to do? We had to get up early, way early. That's not our MO to get up, but we were up way pre-dawn, driving in the black of night to get into that park so that we didn't have to sit in line for 3 or 4 hours
Right.
and be turned around at the gate.
Right.
Again, you got to plan, you got to be flexible.
Absolutely. And I think that is probably one of the most important offerings that we have for you out there. When you're asking questions on Facebook or in these groups or something, be a little bit more specific. I don't know how many times I see this question. Where could I go in Florida? Do you know how big Florida is? Florida is a huge state. And it takes, if you are on the Panhandle and say you want to go to Key West, that is probably close to a 15-hour drive?
Yeah, it's a long.
That's how big Florida
a long
is.
way around there.
Yeah.
And ask a better question. There are a ton of people out there
Yeah.
who do want to help.
They do.
And they do know, and they have been there. But if you ask, has anybody ever traveled with their dog? Come on.
Yeah.
Let's ask a better question. Maybe what you really want to know, has anybody ever traveled with their pit bull? Has anybody ever
A puppy, an older dog.
Right. So
What's it like?
really think about your question. The more detail that you can put in your question, the better answer
Yeah.
you're going to get that really may have value to you.
That's right. That's one of my favorite subjects. Ask a better question, and you're going to get a better answer. Anyway, I think that we gave you a couple options out here to look at and to listen to. If you have questions, we'd love to hear them down in the comments. Maybe we can dispel some of those other myths out there in RV land.
Sure. Or if you just want to know something about where to go, when to go, something that maybe we've done before, let us know. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Like us, subscribe to us, and talk
We
to
didn't
us.
tell you where we're at. Where are we? Pahrump, Nevada. We were beating around last week in Death Valley, and you really need to put that on your list. If you have not even considered Death Valley is amazing. It is just nothing short of spectacular, and there's plenty of room there.
There is. There's a lot of BLM out there. Not a lot of service, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of places to stay, and it is really cool.
Yeah.
When Maureen said, "Oh, let's go to Death Valley," for a week, I'm like, "Oh, why do we need to go to Death Valley for a week? Surely we can see that in 2 or 3 days." Well, we were there a week, and we probably needed another week at least. Amazing spot. And right now, just we're here in this. It's called Paradise, and it's an escapees park. And hot tip there, if you haven't joined Escapees, join them and save some money. We're full hookups in this spot for $20 a night. If you want a boondock, $7 a night.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cheap. I don't care where you are.
We'll put a link to Escapees down in our notes as well. And speaking of reservations, we do not have reservations for next week, so I'm kind of curious as to where we're going. So I guess you will have to join us to find out.
All right. We'll see you on the next trip.
So we're going to end the show here, but first we want to tell you about a new publication that is out in the world here. It's called RV Today, and it is a magazine written for RVers by real RVers. So the magazine is going to bring you some really great information about camping, places you might not have even thought about, gadgets for your RV, how to, what not to do, and we are actually in there, so we're pretty excited because there is a lot of royalty, people that you are already following on YouTube out there, bringing you great RV content, and so they picked us as one of the 50 to share. So we're excited about that. I think we're on page 62. So it's just a little article. And if you look down in our comments, down in our story down there, there is a link for you to follow. You can get that publication now. Its premiere issue is out right now, and there's a huge discount. You can get it digital and you can get it in print. We haven't received our print yet because we've been on the road and haven't sent for our mail yet. So we're excited to get back and get that and see it for ourselves. But it is in digital, and I hope you would subscribe to them.
Another Stro tip, saving you some money and bringing you some great information.